Welcome to El Moro Pigeon Show. I am your host, El Moro, and today we're going to do a video about how to stick a bird, how to adopt a bird to your loft. I have been asked by some people to do this show, and so what I'm going to tell you right now is going to be from the top of my head, from my experiences that I have had since I was a child, adopting birds, trial and error. I'm going to tell you a little story. The first experience that come to my mind was this is back in the 70s, early 70s. I used to like this bird that this guy had. He was a lot older than me. It was a blue bar. It was a buchon. It was a Spanish powder. And it was a blue bar. And this bird, man, oh my gosh, until this day, man, I dream about that bird sometimes. So this bird, he flew so good, and his pout was big, but he was a magnificent bird in the floor and in the air. So I went and I saved some money, and I asked this guy, hey man, do you sell that bird? He sold it to me for 40 pesos. So I brought him to my house, and I was little, I didn't know. And I released the bird after a few days, and the bird went back to him. I went back to claim the bird. He said, no man, that bird wasn't mine. That bird was this guy named Victor. So I went to Victor. Victor was like, no man, that's not he's got the bird. So, I was little. They were bigger than me. Oh man, so I lost the bird. In Cuba, there's a lot of that going on with the bird, especially if you're little. You sell a bird, they come back to your house, you never get it back. It's horrible. But that hurt me until this day. That's one experience I had. The other experience I had was I was walking. I used to walk Havana everywhere, looking at the sky. And when I see a bird flying, I used to follow the bird and go to the house of the guy, see if they wanted to exchange birds, or see if they wanted to buy birds. So I was walking around, and I saw all these homing pigeons. I didn't have homing pigeons. All I had was buchones, Spanish powders. But they caught my attention because they were so colorful. This was antique homing pigeons, and their neck was a lot longer than the homers that you have today, man. These birds were beautiful. So then I go and I knock the door. This guy named Reynaldo comes and answers the door, and I say, hey man, you got birds? I was a little kid, He's like, sure. He was a lot older than me. He said, sure, come on in. So he's showing me all these birds, and first time I seen homing pigeons. I'm like, oh wow, oh okay. I made friends with him. I go back to my house. I start inquiring about homing pigeons. So they gave me these two homing pigeons, these two birds. That's another story. Okay. So anyway, I go to his house again, and he said, hey man, I'm going into the military. I go, oh. He said, look, you want all my birds, I give you all my birds. I'm like, what? All your birds? He said, yeah, man, I'm going into the military. This is in Cuba. I'm going into the military, I can't keep the birds. So here you go. So he give me all his birds, man. I put them in my loft. I'm like, oh wow. Man, they had this jet black birds, and this it was like kind of reddish birds, and it had this blue checkers, white flight, white head. Oh man, these birds were beautiful. The colors, this grizzle birds, in Spanish we call them gavinos. They were beautiful birds, man. So I didn't know I was a kid. So 2 weeks later, I opened the loft. I let them go. I said, oh, these birds are stuck. So the birds they flew back to his house. And I'm like, oh man, I lost the birds. Went back to his house. 2 weeks, okay? Couple of hours later, the birds come back. They come back and start flying around my house. They went inside my loft. I'm like, what? So I'm like, this is crazy. These are homing pigeons. You're not supposed to adopt, stick homing pigeons, a whole flock, that fast. What's going on? Turns out that the guy left with the military, he broke the loft. When I went back over there and I looked, there was no loft. It didn't even look like, what it was before. It was all broken. It was just nothing. It was just a hole in the wall there, you know? So these birds were so smart that they came back to my loft. So I'm like, oh, wow. So experiences like that. The first experience was I let out this bird. The guy never gave it to me. This blue bar. The guy never gave it to me. It was a powder, just like that one. And the guy never gave it to me. And the other experience was, man, what? 22, I think it was 21 or 22 birds, and they got stuck in 2 weeks. So I'm like, wow, that's good. So I started studying, and I started experimenting with birds. And what I found out is that to stick a bird, you have to read the body language. Okay? My experience, nobody taught me this. I didn't go online to learn this. When I did this, there was no Facebook. I didn't even have a computer. I didn't even have a phone. This is Cuba, 1972, 1973, 1974. I didn't have nothing. I learned this by my experience. Oh, glory to the Most High. So, what I've learned is that I learned myself to read the body language of the bird. Okay? I'm going to tell you another experience I had just about maybe, what was that? 7-8 months ago. They gave me a Trenton white hen homing pigeon. Okay? And he lives 60 miles from here. He has the bird since he was a baby, And so he just gave me the bird. I said, oh man, wow, Trenton, nice. So I'll bring him here. As soon as I walk in here, it's a white hen. This bird, I have him in my hand, and he's looking at the loft, and he's trying to go in the loft, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I mean, I've been here for 1 second. The bird is already from my hand trying to go in the loft. He sees all these whites. She sees all these whites. See, he had this bird over there with all kinds of different birds. Homing pigeons, show homers, what was the other? Powders. I think he had a tippler, rollers, all birds together, right? And this bird came over here in my mind. I don't know. He sees all white birds. He's trying to go in the loft. I'm like, nah, it can't be this. This guy's already stuck in here. No way. So I'll put him in. Okay? I'll put him in. Now, birds, they like your loft. They like your loft. They also like the fancier. So if they find the loft attractive, they're going to stay. You treat them good. You have to treat the bird good. You treat him good. Find the love attractive. There's a lot. It's not only that now. Treat him good. Find the love attractive. They like the fancier. Okay? All these are factors for a bird to stay in your loft. Okay? But with this bird, okay, so what I do to my birds to stick them is, okay, I'll put them in there, and then I have this dog cage, and I'm going to show it to you right now. I have this dog cage. There it is. Okay, and what I do, I put this all around because the hawks come in here and they stick the leg there, and it kills the bird. So it's all everywhere. It's secured, see, by this chicken wire, very small chicken wire. So what I do, let me put this back over here if you'll excuse me. So what I do is I take the bird and I put him there every single day for 2 weeks. Even the babies, okay? You see how some babies that are born in your loft, they get lost? That's because you have not given them what we call it in Spanish is acariciamiento, or it's translated to caressing, okay? So I'm kind of like acariciar or caress this bird. I put him inside the cage, and then I release all the other birds. Now, these birds, if it's a baby, okay, you can do it from like 1 month old, 2 months, as soon as I start eating by themselves. If it's a baby, they watch the behavior of the other birds. Most importantly, they watch how they land. Okay, because a lot of young birds, they start flying, they don't know how to land. Okay, they know how to go down from the loft, but when they die high, first time they fly, and they don't know how to land. So when I put them there for about 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even more, with the youngsters, for the most part, I don't release them until the first guide feather grows completely. Now, I call them the first one. In the pigeon world, they call it the 10, number 10. Okay? I do it when I learned since I was small, I call them the first feather is number 1. Because those are the first 3 ones are the strongest one. And the last one that grows is the first one. So when I release the birds only when that first guide flight has grown completely. Now, there's a danger of doing this because the bird is very strong and they can fly away far and get lost. That is only if you don't put them in the cage. That could happen. But if you put them in the cage for a whole month or for 3 weeks, when they go out on flight, a lot of them the first time they're just going to fly with the flock, which is very rare. First time a baby. Let me give you. Okay, that's another example later. Okay, so once you put them there, and then they see the behavior of all the birds, they see the birds go and land. They're going to learn how to land by observing. Okay, sometimes they're going to go on a tree. That's okay. Okay, they go on a tree, that's fine. That means they're recognizing the area. They never seen that from the tree, so they just stay there maybe the whole day and they recognize the area. Well, they're in the tree, don't worry. If a hawk comes, they fly away, don't worry, they'll come back. Sometimes they'll come back, they'll leave, and you see they come back for 3 days. After 3 days, I had one bird that I released a mile at Trenton. I released him a mile away. It was a little baby, and he was 5 days out, and he came back really hungry. Okay? So this bird, if they stay out, don't worry. They already know because you have given them the adaptation or the caressment in that cage. Okay, and they watch the behavior. All right, so let me go back to the white bird that I brought. So what I did to that bird was, it was an adult bird. It had babies over there and everything. I brought it out. I put her in the cage. I released all the birds. She was there all alone for about maybe a week. Then I started bringing the little youngsters out, put in there with her for about another week. So after that, one day I brought them all out and I released all the birds. I look in the cage. Guess what? I forgot to put that bird in. The hen, the the Trenton hen they gave me. I forgot to put it there. So she's flying with the flock. The flock is flying. I don't know if she's there or she already took off, right? She already broke away and took off. So I'll wait until they come down. When they come down in my roof, I get the binoculars and I look, and she's got these 2 little green bands. So I look and she's there. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay, so she got stuck like that. She's stuck, okay? But she got stuck from the first day because her body language told me she already wanted to go in there. Okay, but I wanted to play safe. I have a stuck bird in 1 day. Let me tell you how I did that. That was a buchon, okay? That was a buchon. I'm going to give you this example. I brought the bird. He got married right away with a bird that was born here with a hen. And he was following her everywhere. I let him go. They flew. This was the next day, okay? I brought it one day. The next day, I let him go. And they flew, but that's only because he was on top, like following her, following her. Now, I normally don't do that, but I felt that by the body language, that bird was not going anywhere. Besides, I did it when it was getting dark, okay? So the bird came in. He got stuck already. I didn't release him later for a little while, but I did it. He got stuck already. All right. I have so much to tell you. I have so much to tell you. And I have so much in my mind that I want to get everything there. Okay, so I'm going to give you another example. I have a friend of mine. He raises birds. He has like 300 birds. He have won trophies and all that, but all of a sudden he just wanted to get out of all the color birds. He was driving a truck. He couldn't raise no more. He wanted to keep only white homers that he had. Okay? As a matter of fact, my white homers come from him. Okay? Which I'm going to do a video about my white homers and about white homers. So I went to his house and I saw this beautiful couple of black diamonds from Belgium with the Belgian band. And I'm like, man, please, I buy babies from there if you put them together. He said, no, take him with you, and I'll let you borrow it. Take him with you, and take some babies and give them back to me. So I say, no, I don't like to borrow birds because anything can happen. And he said to me, don't worry about it, man. If something happened, don't worry about it. You know, but they're valuable to me because they come from Belgium. But if something happened, don't worry about it. I'm like, no, it's too much responsibility. I'll wait. So I waited like 6 months, man. So all of a sudden, he said to me, hey, listen, I am going to start, I'm working, driving a truck. It's hard for me. I cannot raise no more. So I'm selling all my birds. And I said, well, how about the black diamonds? And I said, well, he said, well, the male disappeared. We don't know from where. And the female got in by a rat or something. But I got the grandbabies, you know. And I say, okay. He said to me, it's 2 cocks. So he gave it to me. My friend brought him to me. I went to get him. I forgot how that happened. So when I got those birds here, they were skinny because he didn't have the time, right? And man, they were like so like alert, you know, beautiful birds, beautiful birds. So I started feeding them, but he was getting this bird ready in the past. He was getting them ready. I think the birds were about maybe like a year and a half, 2 years old. And he was getting them ready to compete. So he was training these birds already from like, I don't know, 100 miles. These birds were, you know, they were really, really good birds. So when he gave them to me, I put them in the loft. A normal fancier would say, I can't stick these birds. I'm telling you, 90%, maybe 99.9% of fanciers, they would tell you, I can't stick these birds. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. You know, no way. This is, they would, for the most part, they get those birds and they put them to just breed. Okay, this is going to be my breeders. I'm not going to let them fly. Okay, I put the birds there. Let me explain something that happens to the birds that race. They don't put them together with a mate. The only thing they do is just exercise them, take them out, bring them. They separate them. They don't let them breed. So take them out, let them go, raise them. You know. So these birds come in here. I have a loft full of hens. So these birds are like all seducing all the females and everything. And I'm like, oh, look at that. So I put them with my Delbar Jensen black hen. Okay? So he's like seducing this hen and seducing. They got married and they started in Spanish you say pisando. So they started, doing it and all that. So I'm looking at him. I'm looking at his body language. Remember, body language. I'm looking at his body language. He is chasing this girl everywhere. See, as when the hen is about to lay eggs, the cock chases the girl everywhere. He's like, we call her in Spanish, he's jealous. He's got this jealousy of her that he biting her. He don't even let her eat. Every time he go down to eat, she go down to eat. He himself don't even eat. Okay, she go down to eat. He don't let her eat either. He's like biting her everywhere. She flies it, she flies it. And I say, this bird is already stuck. Okay, so I open the loft. Hen comes out. He comes out after her. They all fly. He flying. I'm looking at him in the sky, and the bird is like flying right there, right behind the hen. And they flying and they go, man, and they go out. And I say, man, I hope they don't leave them. They come back, they go down. Okay? When they go down, the cock is going in first, trying to bring her in. She doesn't come in, he go out and get her. So he's like, well, this bird's already stuck. That happened to one of them. Why? Because all this bird wanted to do all his life, when he didn't want to race. This bird didn't want to be taken 100 miles away, and he didn't want to do that. The fancier want him to do that. All the bird wanted to do is breed. So he said, heck, man, they giving me a female. She's about to lay eggs. I never experienced this before. I'm going to stay here. I like this guy. Okay? So the other guy, I put him with I have a Van Loom sticklebout hen that is a chocolate bar. I put it with the chocolate bar. Same thing. So I say, okay, a week later, I'll let him go. Look, these birds are here. It was past the season of breeding, but I let them breed because I wanted the offspring of it. Okay, because I want to raise only blacks, and I did a little loft back there just for blacks. I want to show you. Now, when I start breeding again, I'm going to have this loft right here just for the blacks. See, I got this right here on top, waiting. See that? And then because I don't want them mixed. Right now I have the boys with the boys, the cocks with the cocks, the hens with the hens. So they got stuck. So I let them breed. All right. So look, even if it's a homing pigeon, if it's a youngster, it's even better to stock. Okay. This guy gave me also a blue bar. His name is Abraham from. He's got really, really good birds. He's got antique homing pigeons. Oh, before I tell you that story, I bought from him. Listen, this is another story, another example. I bought from here 15 youngsters. Okay, remember body language. I bought from here 15 youngsters. Okay, when I started again, because I have pigeons, then I took them out. And then when I started again, I didn't have no birds. About 15 youngsters. They were antique birds. They were beautiful birds, beautiful colors. Okay, so I had them there in the lanai. Okay, I opened the door. They come out everywhere. Will poop everywhere. My wife did not like that, so she's like, "You, dude, you got to do a loft." So I put them there. 15 youngsters. I didn't have another bird. I didn't have no birds to. For them to see nothing. So I put all the 15 youngsters in that dog cage right there. Okay, I put them in the dog cage. I don't know, for about maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I put them there. All right? And then from there, I will carry the cage right to the door. I open the door, very uncomfortable. I open, they'll run in. Okay? I did that for about maybe 3 weeks. One day, I look at them and I say, that's it. I'm letting them go today. But when I go outside, it's super windy. Super windy, man. It's like the trees are going like, ooh, like this. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to let them go. Now, a normal fancier would not do that. Okay? Everything tells you no because they never flew before. These are babies. They never flew before. And you just don't do that. But the body language told me. And so I called Abraham. I said, hey, brother, I'm going to let these birds go today. No, no, no. Don't do it. I say, yeah, man, I just, no, it's too soon. I said, look, and it's kind of windy. Oh, you crazy, don't do that. So I show him a video. The trees is like bending like this, like 25 per hour, 25 mile per hour wind. He's like, you crazy. I say, no, man, I feel it. I'm going to let it go. Oh, Mordecai, you crazy. You crazy. I say, no, I'm going to let it do. So I told this other guy, hey, I'm going to let these birds go. He say, oh, look, brother, put soap on it. he say, what? I'm like, what? I say, yeah, I heard that before. It's not like the first time I heard that. Man, put them in water. Put soap on it. Let them out. I say, I ain't gonna put soap on my birds, man. And the other dude say, look, get him wet. Get him wet. Let him out. Get him wet. I said, well, how about the hawk comes? They wet and they can fly. They fly a little bit and then they go down and the hawk kills them. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do it like I'm going to do it. Okay, so what I did was I opened the lanai door. I said over there. These birds start coming out. They're youngsters, so they really wiry. So they start looking. Ah, man. They all started flying everywhere. I look, in the sky, they're like birds everywhere. And I made a video about that, and I'm laughing, right? Windy, birds here, birds there. They're like crossing. They're almost hitting cables. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm laughing, right? And all right, they fly. After a long while, hours, you see, they start coming down. Whew. They go down. Whew. Once they touch the roof, I say, they're stuck. They're stuck already. So all of them got stuck but one bird. Beautiful bird. It was like a blue checker, white flight, like a white head. Oh gosh, so beautiful this bird. I like those kind of birds. So this bird, can you believe this? All the birds are here, they go in. So this bird went on that cable right there. She went on that cable right there. And I'm like, oh man, she's stuck. That's no problem. She already stuck, see? Like I said, trial and error. Out of the 15 birds, this bird looked at the loft, looked around, all of a sudden she went. Brrr! She disappeared. Haven't seen her since. I lost it. Okay? So, trial and error. But I stuck 14 of them. So I told Abraham is like, man, you're the best. I say, no, man, I didn't know. See, a lot of times the birds don't get stuck because the fancier is afraid that the bird's going to go. It's not about the bird. It's about the fancier. The fancier is saying, oh, you can't stick this bird. Oh, don't fly this bird. You will never fly this bird. It will go back. That's the fancier saying, you don't know how the bird feels. So you got to, you got to do it. Now, another story is he gave me this blue bar. What was it? A Jensen. And he gave me a Jensen, blue bar, and a red Bastine. I bought it from him. Adult birds. He's like, man, these birds are adults. Don't fly them because they're gonna go. They might come to my house. They might not. I say, okay. I never listened to about pigeons. I never listened. I listen, but I go by my experience. I put him there. Okay, I put him with another blue bar girl. Girl about to lay eggs. Same thing. He's following. I open the door. Birds flying here. Was here for a long time. It was laid with the eggs and all that, but the female died. I don't know. She just didn't get up no more from the nest. So that happens sometimes. Unexplainable stuff. So I usually don't have birds dying like that. So anyway, so the blue birds stay here, never went nowhere. All of a sudden, I didn't see him no more. This is after months, okay? That's because maybe a hawk got him or something, but he got stuck. I stuck him, all right? Now, and I'm telling you different scenarios, okay? Different scenarios. The Boston that he gave me, okay, gave me a baby, a beautiful red bird. I gave one to race to Spring Hill, and I kept the other one. But that bird, I only left them there. I never brought him out here. I only left them there. I figured, well, I have that coop right there outside. He can see everything. No, listen. They need to be on the ground, eating the grass, eating the little rocks that are around, because that it's like a dog peeing on a territory and claiming the territory. When the bird is there like that, eating and all that, it's like he loves it. He sees all the other birds, but I didn't do this to this bird. So I let him out, never saw him again. So from now on, even the bird, and I don't know why I did that, because I usually take him out and put him there since I was in Cuba. But this bird, I didn't do it. I just said, I got him there. He's fine. No, man. They need to be down on the ground. Down on the ground, not up in the air. Down on the ground, eating. And then being there for a while. Maybe put a little thing there so they can take a bath and all that. All right? Okay, so that bird never stayed. But I have stuck so many homing pigeons that people tell me, no, you never fly that one. And this is the ending of part 1. Please stay tuned for part 2 and subscribe to my channel. And you guys have a blessed day.